We all dream of the perfect love story. The kind where passion and connection are so deep, it feels like a fairy tale. But what if that dream is leading you down a dangerous path? The truth is, many of us unknowingly romanticize toxic relationships, thinking they're normal, even desirable. It's not just a harmless fantasy, it can be seriously damaging. Did you know that 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men experience some form of abuse in their relationships? And yet, many of these toxic behaviors are brushed off as just part of love. In fact, a staggering 60% of people in toxic relationships don't even recognize the warning signs until it's too late. If you've ever found yourself accepting emotional manipulation, jealousy, or constant drama as part of the deal, you're not alone, but you don't have to keep falling for it. In this video, we're going to uncover the truth about romanticizing toxic love. We'll explore how dramatic movies and social media trick us into thinking that chaos is passion. You'll learn how to spot the signs of a toxic relationship, break free from harmful patterns, and create a healthier, happier version of love. Stay tuned, because your idea of love might need a serious makeover. Chapter 1: The Fairy Tale Fallacy. Why love isn't always a Disney movie. We all grew up with fairy tales where love conquers all. Think about it: princesses waiting for their Prince Charming, the epic love stories that always end in happily ever after. But in reality, relationships are much more complicated. Toxic relationships often look like love, but they feel nothing like the stories we're told. Studies have shown that the more we consume these idealized love stories, the more likely we are to accept unhealthy behaviors in our own relationships. A 2016 study from the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that people who watched romantic movies with unrealistic portrayals of love were more likely to stay in dysfunctional relationships, thinking they were normal. We've learned to believe that if someone truly loves you, they'll fight for you, even if it means emotional turmoil. This mindset leads to accepting things like jealousy, manipulation, and control as signs of passion. But this isn't real love, it's toxic. Remember, love is about support, not chaos. So, next time you're faced with a problem in your relationship, ask yourself, is this love or a version of it that's been warped by fairy tales? Chapter 2: Chasing the Chaos. When drama feels like passion in some relationships, chaos can feel like passion. The constant ups and downs, the emotional roller coaster, and the unpredictable behavior create a feeling of excitement. You might feel alive, but it's often at the cost of your peace of mind. According to relationship expert Dr. John Gottman, couples who thrive are the ones who create a calm, predictable atmosphere, where both partners feel heard and respected. Yet, many romanticize toxic relationships because they mistake drama for passion. There's an intense thrill that comes from making up after a huge fight, but that rush often masks deeper problems that need attention. Research suggests that these chaotic relationships activate the brain's reward system, releasing dopamine, the feel-good hormone. This is why drama feels addictive. But the longer you chase this feeling, the more you lose sight of what healthy love looks like. Healthy relationships don't require constant drama to feel alive. You can break free from this toxic cycle by learning how to recognize when the thrill of chaos is overshadowing your happiness. Focus on building stability and understanding in your relationships. True passion comes from mutual respect, not from the emotional destruction that chaos creates. Chapter 3: The Toxic I Can Change Them myth. The heartbreak of unrealistic hope. One of the most dangerous traps in romanticizing toxic relationships is the belief that you can fix or change your partner. Maybe they're abusive, controlling, or simply not treating you well, but you convince yourself that with enough love and effort, they'll change. Sadly, this isn't how it works. A 2017 study from Psychological Science found that people who believe they can change their partners are more likely to stay in dysfunctional relationships, holding on to hope that things will get better. Unfortunately, trying to change someone often leads to disappointment and frustration, as it's impossible to fix another person's deep-seated issues unless they choose to change themselves. Change can only happen when the other person is willing to make an effort. It's heartbreaking when you realize this, but it's a critical lesson in self-love. You deserve someone who meets you at your level, not someone who needs constant fixing. If you're always trying to change your partner, you're missing out on the most important thing, your own happiness. It's important to recognize that people can grow and evolve, but they must do so on their own terms. Don't waste time hoping for someone to change for you. Instead, focus on creating a relationship with someone who is already in a place where they can love and respect you for who you are. As the saying goes, you can't pour from an empty cup. Take care of yourself first. If you're enjoying this content, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next chapters of this important discussion. Chapter 4: Dimming Your Light. How toxic love can make you lose yourself in toxic relationships. It's easy to lose yourself. You start compromising your values, ignoring your goals, and putting your needs aside to please your partner. This slow erosion of your identity happens when you prioritize someone else's happiness over your own, all in the name of love. Dr. Cheryl Paul, a renowned therapist and author, writes in her book The Wisdom of Anxiety that love should never force us to abandon who we are. In fact, healthy love encourages us to grow, remain true to ourselves, and continue chasing our dreams. Yet, many people find themselves dimming their own light to keep the peace in a toxic relationship. It's like you become a shadow of your former self, unsure of where you end and your partner begins. A study from the Journal of Marriage and Family found that individuals in toxic relationships often experience a decline in self-esteem and a loss of personal identity. When we fail to prioritize ourselves, we start believing that we're unworthy of happiness unless we're in a relationship. This belief traps us in a cycle of self-sacrifice. You can break this pattern by practicing self-awareness and setting clear boundaries. Start by asking yourself, what are my values? What do I want out of life? Reconnect with your passions and hobbies. Remember, a healthy relationship enhances who you are, it doesn't shrink you. Chapter 5: Red Flags and Green Lights. When you should stop romanticizing. Recognizing red flags in a relationship can be difficult, especially when you've been conditioned to romanticize toxic behavior. But it's crucial to know when to stop turning a blind eye and start recognizing the signs of a toxic relationship. Red flags aren't just signs of trouble, they are early warnings that something isn't right. Dr. Lillian Glass, a communication and behavior expert, identifies several toxic behaviors as red flags, including verbal abuse, constant criticism, emotional manipulation, and gaslighting. These behaviors are not signs of love, they're signs of control. The problem is that many people mistake these toxic actions for passion or care. They often see manipulation as loving protection, and jealousy as proof of deep affection. But it's essential to understand that these behaviors have nothing to do with love and everything to do with control. According to the National Domestic Violence Hotline, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men experience some form of abuse in their relationships. It's a sobering statistic that reminds us how serious these red flags can be. So, how can you recognize red flags? Trust your instincts. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. The key is to stop romanticizing unhealthy traits and start respecting your own value. If your partner belittles you, manipulates your emotions, or tries to isolate you from others, that's not love, it's toxicity. Learn to spot these behaviors early and take them seriously. Once you know how to recognize red flags, you can turn your attention to the green lights. Green lights in a relationship are signs of respect, kindness, and mutual support. They are the moments when both partners encourage each other to grow, achieve goals, and feel emotionally safe. When these green lights outweigh the red flags, you know you're in a healthy relationship. Chapter 6: True Love Doesn't Hurt. Rewriting your love story with self-respect. In toxic relationships, love often feels painful. But true love should lift you up, not tear you down. It should bring joy, not hurt. Understanding this simple truth can completely change the way you approach your love life and allow you to rewrite your personal love story. According to a study published by Psychology Today, people who are in unhealthy, toxic relationships are more likely to experience anxiety, depression, and a decline in their overall happiness. When love feels painful, it's a sign that something is wrong. And if you've been taught to romanticize toxic love, it can take a while to recognize that pain is a red flag. Self-respect is the foundation of any healthy relationship. When you respect yourself, you set clear boundaries, communicate your needs, and walk away from relationships that do not serve your well-being. This doesn't mean you should be selfish or avoid vulnerability, it means knowing your worth and not settling for anything less than respect and kindness. The next time you find yourself in a situation where love hurts, ask yourself, is this relationship bringing me joy and fulfillment? If the answer is no, then it's time to start rewriting your story. Healthy love doesn't involve constant sacrifice or emotional damage. It's about two people growing together, supporting each other, and building a life filled with happiness and mutual respect. You don't have to settle for anything less. By focusing on self-respect and learning from past relationships, you can create a new narrative for your love life. A love story where you are not the villain or the victim, but a happy, empowered person who knows their worth. Don't forget to subscribe for more valuable insights on building healthy relationships and living a life filled with love and respect. Final thoughts: romanticizing toxic relationships may feel normal because society has conditioned us to accept them. However, by understanding the danger of these relationships and learning to recognize red flags, you can stop romanticizing them. True love is supportive, respectful, and free from the chaos and manipulation that toxic relationships thrive on. By focusing on self-respect, recognizing harmful behaviors, and rewriting your love story, you can attract and maintain healthier, happier relationships. Remember, love should make you feel safe, valued, and empowered, not drained and unworthy. So, let go of the toxic myths and start building a life filled with true love and happiness.